91.7 WEEM. We welcome you here to this interview on the Arabian Sports Network. My name is Zion Palmieri. I'm sitting alongside head coach of the Lady Arabian basketball team, Coach Rodgers. It's been a while since we talked to you, a long off season. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing really good. Glad to be here and glad for, basketball time to be around.
Yeah, all right. Well, you're entering your fourth year. Last year, you obviously won your sectionals and had a 6-1 record in the Hoosier Heritage Conference, which was enough to win it. I believe you tied with Greenfield. Was that correct?
Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon. Sorry.
Yeah, no, all good.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
With that in mind, what are your goals for this season? You had a lot of seniors graduated and also a really positive year last year. Yeah. So how are you taking last year into this?
We accomplished something, first and foremost that we hadn't done in, almost 15 years with sectional. So, we're really excited to work hard to put ourselves back in a position to get back to, a situation where we can potentially compete for another sectional championship. No more county tournament this year, but we did get ourselves in a pretty good holiday tournament up in Warsaw. Warsaw's the defending state runner-up last year for 4A. Have a lot of kids returning, and then there's also some really good teams up there. Columbia City, some teams around Fort Wayne, things like that. So we're pretty excited about that. That's something that we want to be able to compete at, and maybe even get a chance to play Warsaw. And then this year, in my 3 years, we've either come in second or tied for first with the conference. So I think this year, that one of the big goals for this girl these girls for this team is they want to be outright champions. So those are a couple of the things that we're striving for. And, if we're able to win another sectional, that would be amazing. But we definitely want to take the next step. Being up 13 to the eventual state champion, Lawrence North Wildcats last year, deep into the third quarter, that still kind of stings. And I think a lot of these girls have thought about that for a long time. So that's kind of things that we're looking towards. We want to compete and see if we can take that next step.
Yeah, obviously, you probably knew it was coming up. Casey Orful, your senior departure last year. In her 4 years here, she's averaged over 15 each year. Yeah. With a lot of teams here, they always tell me, we're not rebuilding, we're reloading. Yeah. Is that a similar mindset for the girls basketball team this season?
I think so. Because I think one of the biggest things is, there have been other girls on those teams that were Casey Warfel led that, the Ada Hupfers, the Olivia Joneses, the Mamie Trouts, the Aubrey Warfel. So, there's definitely a sense of we're excited to see kids kind of step into new roles, spread their wings, so to speak. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, it's not going to be different, because it is. That's not somebody that's easily replaceable. Anybody that scores 2,100 points and has that many steals and wins. I think she almost played 100 games in her career. That's hard to just replace with one person. But again, I think we're excited to see girls step into roles that they've kind of always been, but just expanded, and it'll be different. So we're excited. We've already seen some of those girls start to do that. Ada Hupfer had a great scrimmage, very efficient, 18 points. I think she had like 14 or 15 rebounds in very limited time. So again, we're really excited about these girls and the roles that they're going to move into.
Yeah, let's talk about Ada Hupfer a little bit. I've been watching over the offseason as she gets offers starting to pour in. there's a lot of eyes on this team now with Hupfer, especially at the helm, and Casey gone. Is it? I know, I'm in football mode still with the football team making the run they are right now, and he always calls it rat poison. Is this rat poison where like you don't want to listen to the people on the outside? Let's just play our basketball. What's that like?
I mean, for sure. I told the Times Post, I told the Herald Bulletin, like, there's a lot of expectations for this team. We're graduating a group of seniors that, accomplished things that hadn't been done in a long time. But you're still returning a lot, and you're returning a player that, some recruiting sources have her as the, number 2 junior in the state. She's starting to pick up some Power 4 offers and things like that. So absolutely, there's expectations everywhere from myself, from fans, from parents, players, community. But we kind of say the same thing. We just say, tune out the noise, stay focused on us, come in and work hard every day, and stay focused on what we're trying to strive for. So, absolutely. We're going to continue to hear it. I'm sure throughout the season, throughout the grind and the ups and downs, there's going to continue to be noise, but we just got to stay focused on what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, obviously you touched on the county tournament a little bit. We haven't spoken about that. Obviously with the Hoosier Heritage Conference, Delta officially departed today. Well, they announced their departure. Right. What do you make of all these changes in the conference and the county tournament being voided? Yeah,
I think the county, I get it. I kind of don't get it. It's one of those things. I know it's tough in some of those sports. I also know it's tough for some of those county opponents that play a lot of those teams in their conference. They play them in their sectional, and then they play them again in the county. So I understand. I get the perspective. But then again, they joined, I think a majority of those teams joined a holiday tournament together to play. So it's like, you stopped playing one, but then you kind of went and joined together to start another one. So, I get it. I hate it because I do kind of feel like it gave kind of that old, one class basketball sectional style. And I hate that it's trickled down now as far to middle school and elementaries and things like that. I think that's tough because that just hurts kids that aren't even really, it shouldn't affect. But like I said, we got creative. We tried to find some places for us to go, and that'll be something that we probably continue to do. Or maybe it's a situation where we try to host our own or something like that down the road. So we're working on that. As far as the conference goes, I think when a lot of the exodus started with Shelbyville and Newcastle, and then, the Eastern Crossroads, coming out and things like that. I mean, they said in that initial press release that Delta was invited. I figured that was probably going to be the next, shoe to drop. I think that now leaves us with only 5 teams. The Southern 4, us, Greenfield, New Pal, Mount Vernon, and the one extremely far north in Yorktown. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to go there. I'm not upset with it. I think all schools should do what's best, what they feel like is best for their student athletes. There's been a lot of talk in the athletic department about, where and what happens with us. And I'm going to, just like I said, for those other schools, I want what's best for, Pendleton Heights student athletes. So, and that's not just girls basketball, that's everybody on the whole. So, I want to have a good decision that's made for, the football program, the softball program, volleyball program, and even some of those individual sports like, tennis, golf, cross country, things like that. I want what's best for Arabian athletics. So a lot to be determined there. We don't know where it'll end up happening, and we're just all going to have to stay kind of agile on our feet and roll with the punches.
I got to ask, because in my position, I want names. I want the clip. I've heard a lot of talks of the parochial schools in, Chittard or Guerin Catholic, maybe a Ron Colley. Who do you think is going to fill that role in your idea for the Hoosier Heritage Conference?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I have my thoughts. I'm always a coach, and this is speaking, specifically for girls basketball. I always want a chance to challenge and compete. Mm-hmm. So, when it comes to girls basketball, I want the best of the best. I don't care so much about wins and losses. I care about my team, no matter the talent, no matter what, being the best that they can be when that state tournament rolls around. So, we're going to line up against whoever that is, whether it's Ron Colley, Chittard, Brebeuf, Guerin, Cathedral, no matter who it is, we're still going to go out with the same type of preparation and intensity that we play with every game. So, again, a lot to be determined. But I think our conference would get better with any of those 4 teams.
Yeah. Continue about these new matchups. This year, we're going to play Brownsburg likely and Carmel. That was a pretty bold matchup. You're obviously very confident and you want to play the best opponents. Do you think the success they had last year kind of helped your girls? We can do this. We can take on this team.
Yeah. And this is something that, we've been building, for a while now. You said this is year 4, and, like I said, my philosophy has always been, I don't care about wins. I don't care if we go in and get thumped by somebody. Like, to me, that's a learning experience. And that's putting yourself in the furnace more often than not. So going and playing an opponent like that, I feel like is going to be more beneficial for us long term, long run, than going and playing somebody that, we're going to running clock, and it helps your appearance on paper. We want to compete with the best, because that's what we're trying to build here. We're trying to build something that's special, that people want to be a part of, and that when people see, Pendleton Heights on the schedule for, girls basketball, they're like, oh, we better be ready for that matchup. So, again, we're making some changes, and, I talked about that holiday tournament as well. That's going to be, some really competitive games. We want to get out and compete and put ourselves in early February to, do something that not a lot of teams get to do. So that's what we're trying to build, and that's what we're working for.
One question last year for your coach. Obviously, there's some new faces to the team with new freshmen pouring in and underclassmen as well. Who's the next girl we got to look out for this season? Maybe a freshman who might not touch the varsity's time, or maybe, a sophomore getting pulled up further. Who's next for the Lady Arabians?
Yeah. So, with the current landscape of high school sports and college sports with the transfer portal, we've picked up a couple transfers, both juniors and then one freshman. So Sammy Brunk, who's a homeschool kid, she's a junior, extremely intelligent, point guard, can shoot it really well, just very poised with the ball. We're definitely excited to see what she can do and bring, because really might be one of the most under recruited kids in the state of Indiana, because she was homeschooled. She hasn't been a part of, the top of the top AAU programs. But just talk about a tireless worker. So we're excited to see what she can do. Grace Lee, transfer from Shenandoah, is another one, a junior, long, ultra athletic, just incredible to kind of see her, start to grow like a weed from the time she's been here this summer to now. Again, another tireless worker, somebody that, took a chance on us, came here, wanted to challenge herself, and has met that bell every time. She has a stepsister, Justice Ellis, who's another, 5'7", 5'8", long, ultra athletic, can shoot it. So, just we're excited to bring kids like that in. We finally have the youngest Warfel here on board, Ellie. A lot of similarities with Casey, but Ellie's also, I'm sure she gets sick of hearing that. But Ellie's also her own person as well. I would say from kind of coming in as a freshman, she might be the most consistent shooter out of all four of the sisters. Aubrey is probably the streakiest when it comes to all of them. But a lot of similarities with Ellie and Casey. Ellie does a really good job at seeing the floor, distributing the ball, and making plays. So I think there will be a lot of times when you see her on the court this year, you'll see flashes where you're like, oh, that looks familiar. Because, you've probably seen Casey do that a time or two. And again, I could just go on and on. Sophie Bruce, sophomore, is going to have a much, much bigger role this year. She's made great strides in the off season. Jada McGraw is going to have a much bigger role, backing up Ada and kind of fortifying that 4 spot. And then I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the seniors. I'm super excited to see Olivia Jones kind of spread her wings. She's, kind of always taken a supporting role behind Casey. And, now I think she's going to be able to kind of show some of the things that she can do. She's a stat sheet stuffer to begin with. She's always filling up the categories, but I think she's going to continue to do that and more. And then maybe Trout, what I think for Mamie, she might be a kid that continues to get asked day in and day out to do things that are extremely tough. She's constantly guarding people that are 4 or 5 inches taller than her, outweigh her by 20, 30, 40 pounds. And she never complains. She works hard. She always takes the challenge with yes, coach, no coach. Again, so we're excited about it. There's even a couple other freshmen. Aaliyah Smitherman is one that we've seen great promise in. She can shoot it a little bit, drive it, competes on the defensive end. So yeah, we're excited. There's a lot of pieces this year that we're excited to kind of move around.
I know I said that was the last question, but you've given me a lot of loose ends to work with, and I'm super excited now. I didn't think about the transfer portal. A lot of rules changed this previous year. Do you think it's going to be difficult to compete with schools considering the transfer portal? And has it been a difficult process, like recruiting people and getting them here?
No. So, I mean, here's the deal. I think it's always happened. I think, it's been going around for years. I think what we're going to run into now is you're going to one, coaches have to recruit your own. It is much more like a college environment. So, no longer can you just not pour into a kid and think that they're just going to continue with you and things like that. That shouldn't really be any different than what coaches should be doing anyways. But I do think that you will see some kids that may not stay 4 years, whether it's, backed up, like they've got 2 or 3 people stacked up ahead of them and they want an opportunity to play, or maybe they don't like the way they're utilized or things like that. They may choose to go somewhere else. I do like how they've built into the rule, how, there is opportunities to be able to come back within that 365-day period. I understand why the IHSA did it, because if they didn't do it, what was going to go through the state house was going to be total anarchy. And that really wasn't going to be a good solution either. I think the one thing that I will say about how Mr. Smith and all of us coaches have handled this is we've made a commitment right off the bat that we're going to do it the right way. We're not going to take meetings before our kids enrolled and things like that. We are choosing to let our hard work and our program kind of speak for itself. And if somebody wants to be a part of that, we're very welcoming. I know there's probably going to be teams out there that don't do it that way. But again, like, that happens at the college level as well. So you're going to run into that. But again, I think the spirit of this rule change was to give kids an opportunity to play. And I think kids deserve that opportunity if they're in a tough situation, either with a coach, or just, how kids are stacked up ahead of them. So we were obviously blessed by it. I'm extremely happy to have those kids. And, down the road, if people choose to come here, that's great as well. But again, it's the new landscape, and you got to be able to kind of roll with the punches. There was just a survey that went out today from yesterday about the IHSA talking about shot clock. Are you for it? Are you not for it? I strongly support it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. I think by 2027, we're going to be, if it's not passed by then, I think there's going to be 40 of the 50 states that have it and we don't. So, and then they had also talked about bumping back the seasons a little bit further, just with how volleyball and stuff is stacked up right on top of each other. So again, I think to be a coach, you got to be able to be agile and move with the changes. And I think this is one of them.
A lot of good information, Coach. I'm really excited for the season and your season opener at home on the 8th versus Westfield. We're super excited. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.